Hello, everybody. Gosh, let's hope it's smoother sailing from here on out. We're going to discuss. Yay! Okay, people are coming. Yeah. My friend said to me, "How about you just do it on Zoom, Kathy?" And I was like, "Well, maybe that would be a viable option in the future because YouTube. This is the third device I'm using today. From here on out, let's just have a good time. Please let me know where you're from in the chat. And if you have questions that come up for you, please post those in the chat too, because they can definitely influence the direction in which we go. So what are we doing today? We're going through 2 master keys in abundance. And these are just so juicy when we add and increase them in our lives. I'm sure you already have some degree of each of them. And by expanding these 2 things, you can move mountains. And so again, please post your questions. And it's just an hour together. So there is a lot to cover. And before we dive in, I'm going to say a little bit about me. For those of you who don't know me, I know some of you do. I'm Kathy Williams. I'm a transformative coach. I studied with Michael Neal, and over the past 20 years, have studied all sorts of things as an access consciousness facilitator. I studied also for several years with a Hawaiian shaman, a kahuna, and just all sorts of energetic tools and techniques. And I weave them all together because I realized at one point I cannot let any part or piece of what I know, dissolve and go if it's useful. So with all of that, I created a program that kind of flowed through me a couple of years, actually last year, called Radical Abundance. And it's an amalgamation of different tools and practices that change brainwave states. They change us from one thing we'll discuss today, which is called the negativity bias of the mind, and into a space of receiving the ease with which you can function on planet Earth, because most people are functioning in such a way that there's struggle and there's efforting and there's pushing against, and that's not required. So we'll definitely dive into that possibility today. And then if you're interested, I do the entire Radical Abundance course, which spans 2 months and into people's lives. So the title is 2 Master Keys in Creating More Abundance. So the first one is acknowledgement. So that means acknowledging where you are already abundant. Acknowledging that the universe is responding to your asks. So let's look at where we're already abundant. Okay? I mean, this universe is an abundant place. It knows no lack. I mean, just think of the cells in your body for a moment. Right? You have trillions of them. And every day, some millions of them, every hour, some millions of them are replaced. Right? So this constant process that you don't even have to think about. Thank goodness we don't have to think about that, right? So our body is incredibly intelligent and has trillions of cells. That's abundance. So you already are abundant, right? And then we get to look at, what am I abundant in? Am I abundant in doubt? Am I abundant in lack and scarcity thinking? Am I abundant in things to do, which one might also call busy, right? I'm so busy. What if we reframe that as, I'm so abundant in things to do? Are you abundant in thinking? What are you abundant in? I'm abundant in hair. That's a, or honey. People love to buy me honey. I probably have a 4-year supply of honey. Right, so what are you abundant in? And there is a chat. So if you would like to actually use your fingers and write that down, there is something it does for rewiring the brain when you acknowledge and when you write something down. It actually, because it takes energy and it's a tactile experience to write something down, which is why the psychologist Martin Seligman suggests people write down things they're grateful for that happened during the day, or three things they're grateful for about themselves during the day, or whatever it may be. Okay, because there's this experience that writing can really reinforce for us. And we'll talk a little bit more about him in a moment, because he's one of the kind of founders of positive psychology. I remember years ago, oh gosh, more than 20 years ago, reading some of his books, because one of them is called Learned Optimism. It's about how we can learn to be more happy. My mom was a psychologist, so she had all sorts of interesting books for me as a child that I would just go into her library and read those. And that was one of them. And it really made a mark on me, because, wow, you can learn to be happy. It's not just something you either are or aren't. So the negativity bias of the mind is something that is pretty universally now recognized in psychology. And it's that thing where we look for what's off, right? Like, let's say, and this is a useful skill, right? If you're on the savannah, if you're a person several thousand years ago looking out at the grasslands, you're looking for what's wrong. You're looking to see if, is there a signal that a lion is around? And that translates today too, right? As a young child, we're looking for signals that, okay, is my parent happy with me? Am I behaving the way that is going to, get what I would like to get and not be punished, right? So we learn this thing, we learn to look for what's off. But could you see how that could disrupt our happiness, disrupt our ability to feel abundant or feel at peace, right? If I'm constantly looking for what's off. So that brings us to tool number 2, which is gratitude. And again, as a kid, my mom was like, gratitude list, gratitude journal. And I was like, blah, blah, blah. Right? It seems so simple. The thing is, this reinforces, when we reinforce gratitude, we pull ourselves out of the negativity bias of the mind. And if our point of view creates our reality, if what we focus on expands, then when we acknowledge the good in our lives, when we acknowledge that the universe has our back, and we'll explore that today, and we acknowledge the things that we're grateful for, wouldn't they expand? So Martin Seligman has shown scientifically, okay, because his whole thing at the University of Pennsylvania is the science behind optimism, behind gratitude, behind changing our neural pathways and out of the negativity bias into something else. Like, he's paid to study that, and he's been paid to study that for like 30 years. And he says, this is just one of the most simple things you can do to change. At night before you go to sleep, write down 3 things you're grateful for. And write down something beyond that. So if I say, wow, I'm really grateful my husband made this amazing dinner last night, right? And then you write a little bit more, so you elaborate. He is an awesome cook. I'm so happy about that, right? How did I get so lucky to have such an awesome cook in my life? Something like that, okay? Or, oh, my sister just had a healthy baby boy. You know, isn't it amazing how people's bodies just produce these miracles that become us, right? And most of the time, we turn out with 10 fingers and 10 toes. So the statement of this is what happened, this is what occurred, this is what I'm grateful for, okay? And then a little elaboration about that. And, you know, just if you don't like doing it at night, I always love lots of different tools and you can do it in the way that Robin Sharma suggests. And if you don't know who he is, he's amazing. He's a coach to many CEOs, presents many different businesses, Nike, all of that. And he talks about getting up super early. All right, I wake up at 4:30. I'm not inviting you to wake up at 4:30, but I do. And in these early hours of the morning, like 5 a.m., 5:30, whatever it is, like no one else is awake, which means if you're a super aware person and you're constantly picking up on other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions, guess what? Those people are sleeping, which means there's a lot more space. And there's a lot of space for you to tap into your own ideas, creations, your own awareness. And so writing what you're grateful for at that time can be super useful. It's setting the stage for a productive day. And if you're focusing on what you're grateful for, that's what's expanding in your life. It's kind of like when, you know, I just bought a white car, a new white Nissan Leaf. And have you ever noticed when you're looking for a new car or something like that, or you just got a new gray jacket, you begin to see where, oh, like all these other people have a gray jacket, or look, there are like 75 other Leafs on the road all the time, and you didn't see it before. Because what we're focusing on expands. So if we're focusing on the abundance we already have, if we're acknowledging the abundance we already have, that's going to expand. So, you know, I asked you to kind of look at where you're already abundant. And if you have the chat available, maybe you want to acknowledge it and give us a little, where are you already abundant? You're abundant in cells. Wherever you are is abundant in air, right? Kind of suck if it wasn't. Are you abundant in friends, contacts? What are we already abundant in? And I mentioned before lack thinking, right? We can have an abundance of doubt or lack thinking. And in a little bit, we're going to do an acknowledgement exercise to help shift out of doubt. So acknowledging where we're already abundant can be one of those things that you do if you wake up early in the morning and journal, both about what you're grateful for and anything else on your mind. Okay, so the other really useful thing to start to acknowledge is where you've asked for something and it's already shown up. Okay, so I remember specifically an instance in which I was like, geez, I'm really missing having a hiking partner. I would love to have a hiking partner. Right? And then within the next 2 weeks, I went hiking with a couple of different people. So acknowledging where the universe has delivered, even if it wasn't a lot of effort for us. And a lot of times we acknowledge it less when there isn't a lot of effort, right? That showed up easily. Okay. So just for a moment, think of something you asked for that showed up with ease. What have you asked for that's shown up with ease? And when you asked, let's look at the energy that you were being during the ask. And this is a key thing, the energy you were being. All right. So if you're asking for something to show up, are you asking from a needy space? I need it. I need it to happen. Desperation, right? Or was it sort of like, oh, it'd be nice if this shows up? What was the energy of your ask? Because when you're asking from need, you're actually creating a separation between you and your desire. You're asking from a space of lack. I don't have it. I want it. The energy of want is actually lacking. So if instead you ask from a space of, oh, I know it's coming, right? Be nice if. Wouldn't it be nice if this would show up? And there's a much lighter, easier energy. Wouldn't it be nice to have this? What would that be like, right? When a lighter energy calls it in faster. All right, it's as though when you're asking from a space of lack or need, your desire is a truck, like let's say a pickup truck, and you're going toward, whatever it is you like. This is the energy of that. Okay, sorry. The energy of your ask is the pickup truck. So the desire is over here. The energy of your ask is the pickup truck. And then need, if you have need, it's like you're carrying a trailer full of garbage. And so you've got to haul that on the way to your desire. Okay? It's harder to reach it. It takes longer. Instead of, oh, wow, what would it be like if this were to show up? So let's do a little exercise. Think of something you would like to have. Okay? That could be what you consider big or small. It doesn't matter. And if you think of it as big, just acknowledge that the universe is ginormous, right? And there's so much going on all at once. And that you have at your disposal energy that moves mountains, right? That puts an eye cell in an eye and a liver cell in the liver. Okay? Magical things are occurring all the time. So is what you're asking for really so big or not? So got that thing? Okay. So you have something that you desire. And now acknowledge your desire and try it on as though you already have that. So if you're asking for a lover, like what's it like to have a lover? Expands it in amazing ways. Yeah. If you're asking for a new home, whatever it is, like be in that situation as if you have it already. And now bring in the quality of gratitude for having it. Thank you, universe. I'm so grateful I have this. It's pretty awesome. Okay, expand that sense of gratitude, thankfulness, if you wish. Really be in it. Okay. And just this exercise alone is an energy pull, pulling it to you. Okay. You being the person who has this already, you being grateful for it already rewires your neurology. It's so cool. Just by doing this sort of thing, people have healed from Parkinson's disease. All right. Just by doing this sort of thing, people, we can pull in all sorts of things. The thing is, a lot of times we go to, oh, I don't have it. How do I get it, right? How many of us go to the how? Do you go to the how, right? What if you said, okay, the how is up to the universe, right? Because how, when we're trying to figure out how, we're going to the past, either our own past experience or someone else's experience. But the universe can provide us a how that's never existed before. Pretty cool, huh? So when we go to the how, the past is old. The past is done. When we become the vibration of the person who has it already with gratitude, all sorts of things can show up. Okay? Because we're not vibrating the old way. We're not vibrating to the lack anymore. We're rewiring the neurology, which means you're a new person. Because when your neurology is different, you're making different choices. When you're making different choices, it brings you different results. Simple. So being the person, and sometimes it's like, okay, let's imagine what your desire is. You have a mountain of debt. I'd like to get rid of this debt. Okay, what would it be like to be the person who has no debt, who's overcome a mountain of debt? Right? If you have debt, try that on. What's that like? Debt-free. Okay. Not only that, a surplus of money. You now have a surplus of money in the bank to use at your disposal. What's it like to be that person? Right? And let's bring in appreciation for all that you've chosen to create this new experience. You could even talk about it. There's a fun exercise in which you talk about, like, oh my gosh, I just paid off all my credit cards, and it's pretty amazing. And I just see money accumulating in my PayPal account as people are buying my products. And it's been such a fun journey to see what I could create. So you're actually talking about an experience that hasn't happened yet as though it's happened. And by being that energy, you're creating that experience. And as you talk about it, you can also look at what is off about talking about this. This piece feels off. I just actually don't believe I can do it. Okay, cool. Let me look at those points of view and let go of those so I can create a different reality. All right. And in the Radical Abundance class, we actually do a process and make it a practice to rewire the neurology, to get into theta brainwave state, which is easy to do if you know how to do, because theta brainwave state is that relaxed, receptive space of being so you can receive. Because when we're pushing against, when we're trying to figure things out, are we in a receptive state? When we're relaxed, it's so much easier to be in a receptive state, a receptive space. All right. So questions, we have the chat box here. If you have questions, please type them in. I'd love to hear from you. And so we'll talk a little bit more about acknowledging, and also before we even go there, when you're in this space of gratitude, appreciation is a word I actually prefer to gratitude, because appreciate also has the meaning to raise in value, right? And when you're appreciating something, like let's say you're appreciating a beautiful flower, you're actually lifting it in value, right? You're allowing it to contribute even more to your life. And you're acknowledging in that moment that the universe is contributing to you. And every molecule can contribute to you. So that's one of the things that acknowledging can do. When we're acknowledging our asks, like I asked for this and it showed up, you're acknowledging that the universe supports you. And I love universe show me questions. So that could look like, hey, universe, show me that you support me. Universe, show me that you have my back today. Each morning I ask, what delightful surprises and magical adventures will I have today? Okay. So you're inviting those experiences. Universe, show me. And it will. So when you ask that, expanding your awareness in that direction, like shining a flashlight, it will show up. Universe, show me how much more ease I could have with this. Universe, show me the easiest way. That's the most effective way. Universe, show me my magical capacities with creation. Do you acknowledge those enough? Okay. Do you acknowledge those every day? Look what I created. How much more can I create? Okay. Or when you're in an experience, like let's say you have clients, you see clients, or run a shop and you just had a wonderful person come into your shop. More please, thank you, right? That more please, thank you is acknowledging you love this energy and acknowledging that the universe can give you more. Oh, I just saw a whale jump. It was awesome. More please, thank you. It's been a little slow whale season so far, but it's only like, what, 4 days into real whale season? No, 5. Whale season here on Maui generally starts on December 15th. So, and lucky me, I have a whale view from ocean view from my office. So more please, thank you. Right? So you're acknowledging what just occurred and the delight, or what is occurring and the delight with which you have that. And you're inviting the universe to deliver more of it. More please, thank you is a tool I use every single day. So if you're getting new clients, you're loving new clients, more please, thank you. An acknowledgement of ourselves and what we've created is so useful, especially for those of us who are constantly looking at like, oh, well, I could do more. I wish I had more, right? I know so much more is possible, right? So much more is possible. I'm only here and I'd love to be here. Okay, cool. When you start to acknowledge what you've already created, again, acknowledging your creative capacities grows them, right? So I remember a friend saying to me in August, oh, Kathy, I just got 3 new clients. I had 3 new clients this month, and it's awesome, and I'm delighted, and I'm happy about that. And I was like, oh, cool. I'd like to have 3 new clients. And then it's so funny because I looked back over that month, and I was like, oh, I have 5 new clients this month. Like I hadn't even acknowledged what I'd created until she brought it into my awareness. And she's like, I got 3 new clients. And I was like, I want 3 new clients. And then looking, I was like, oh, I already got 5. So what else can I create? Right? When we know like, oh, well, okay, cool. I got 5 and I'd really love to have 8. Well, oftentimes we're looking at the gap between what we have and what we know we can create. And so if you're willing to acknowledge, oh, wow, look what I created already. I created 5. How much ease could I bring in to creating another 5? Universe, show me. And when you ask that kind of question, don't move on. Just be with that for a moment. What else could I choose that would bring in more people? What other ways? Where else would money like to come from? And be with that question for a moment, because what a lot of people do is just move on, right? They'll ask and move on. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, oh, what else is possible? And then just move on. It's like an automatic thing. They're not actually pausing to see if anything arises and aware of something new. And that pause to receive awareness. Awareness can be super quick. And it might also come over the course of the day. But it can just be so useful to sit with a question and acknowledge what comes up for you. You know, one of the exercises I used to do a lot with people is when they had something they considered a problem. And a problem was actually a possibility. It's just been clouded over with your judgment about, this is a problem, right? So when you have a situation you'd like to change, a really useful thing can be what I call a brain dump. Okay, what this means is you sit with a piece of paper and you come up with you ask the question, okay, how could I change this? Or what else is possible in this situation? And for anywhere between 2 and 5 minutes, and you could do it for more or less, sitting with that question and with your paper and writing down every single thing that occurs to you. I'll give you an example. I did this once about my dog, because my dog was, or this is the example I used to actually give when I worked with corporations and gave presentations on stress reduction. I said, okay, my dog's eating the toilet paper, right? So what can I do about this? Sit and do a brain dump. Okay, I could get rid of the dog. We don't censor any of it. Get rid of the dog, put the toilet paper up high, make sure the trash can is, somewhere he can't reach it, lock the door. It didn't actually have a door. So lock the bedroom door to keep him out. Like any solution, whether it makes sense or not, have a friend watch the dog during the day when we're not home. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. You're dumping every solution that comes to mind onto the paper. Why? Because when you're finished with that 2 to 5 minutes, you take a look. Oh, okay, what arose? Oh, well, this is not going to work for me, but if we tweak it, it could work. Let's do that, right? So the reason you're not censoring is because then that's putting the judgment in. Whereas if you'll just allow your creative mind to get working, just allow your awareness of any possible solution, then you can come up with something creative pretty quickly. So, have you acknowledged how creative you truly are? Have you acknowledged what you gift to the world just by being? Have you acknowledged that your journey hasn't always been easy, yet here you are? And it can be a useful activity to sit down and acknowledge things about yourself. Hey, I make really good cookies. Hey, I give good hugs. All these different things. Or 50 things you're grateful for about yourself or about your life. I know, I hear resistance, so it's funny, you know, and again, if you like the word thankful for, appreciative of, you know, 50 things you appreciate. Here's the thing, the first 10 will be easy. And then it gets like, oh goodness, I've got to stretch. Or maybe for you, the first 20 will be easy. And then it's like, oh, what else is there? What else is there? And you're reaching, which is useful. Because most of the time we're not thankful, like, oh, my elbow bends, right? I'm so happy my elbow bends. Because it's just routine and normal. But if one day it didn't bend and you're like, how do I eat? How do I, you know, for me, drive the car? How do I even put on clothes? Right? Like we begin to stretch the muscle of appreciation to be able to appreciate more and more and more. And as we change the brain, we begin to really see that the universe has our back all the time. All the time. And one question that's really useful in helping to bring this in is, what's the gift in this? All right. So someone yells at you, or you arrive at the shop only to find that it's closed already, or you know, whatever it is. What's the gift in this? And because you're asking, you will receive it in some way. Oh, it allowed me to slow down. Oh, it allowed me to actually go to a different shop where the thing I was looking for is on sale. I was in London facilitating a class called The Foundation this past summer. And, you know, they have these big tourist buses that are red with double deckers. So when you get a ticket for that, they allow you to ride for 24 hours. So on day one, we went and we started at noon, which meant, oh, I could go tomorrow as well, you know, at 9 a.m. or whatever time it starts, and ride again for a couple of hours and see what we missed. So I had this nice plan set up. Okay, we've done part of the tour. Let's go today and do the rest of the tour and then end up at the Science Museum. So we got all our stuff ready to go. This is me and my two kids. One was 6 and one was 9. They're still that. And we got on the tube to go to the departure point for that double-decker bus. And before we left the station, we had just gotten off the train, and I was like, okay, let me just find the ticket for the double-decker bus. So I rifled around in my backpack and didn't find the ticket. And so I looked a little bit more, and I was like, I don't think the ticket's here. So you get this little, okay, what now? And I asked, what's the gift in this situation? Some people also like to ask, what's right about this? To me, that puts me back into right and wrong. And I just like, what's the gift in this? So I said, well, let's go to the Science Museum then. And we got back on the tube to take it further to get to the Science Museum. And in London, from the tube station to the Science Museum, there's a tunnel. So you can just walk directly. You don't have to go upstairs. You just walk through that tunnel. And in the tunnel, was one of the most moving musicians I have ever heard. Like, I cried. And I was like, well, geez, if I was on that double-decker bus there, I wouldn't have heard this musician. So here is definitely a gift. And sometimes that gift will show up within 20 seconds. Sometimes it'll show up that day, and sometimes it'll take weeks or months or years to show up. So it's not about, okay, what's the gift in here? Tell me, universe, right now. I need to know right now. It's like, it's coming. It's here. The universe supports me. How can I use this? This is another of my very favorite questions. How can I use this to create something even greater? Because something greater is always available. So how can I use this situation to create something greater? We had my children's school almost closed this year. It's a little Montessori school, like super tiny. And they lost 20 students to a new charter school that opened up. The charter school is free. Our school isn't, you know, and 20 students was like a quarter of all the students, right? So that's it's a pretty big number, considering. So they lost a lot of income, and they said, okay, we might just have to close. And I was like, okay, how can we use this situation to create something greater? And the situation really got families and people to pull together to fundraise. Actually, we create community, intimacy, like connection around the school, and also community awareness about our school. And we're able to keep the school open. We are able to keep the school open. So it's like any situation that occurs, how can I use this to create something greater? What's the gift here? Right? If I knew the universe truly had my back, would I be getting upset now? And that is what the Radical Abundance course is all about, really inviting you to know, without a doubt, that the universe has your back. You to know also that you can trust you. So let's do a little exercise about you trusting you. All right. So what I'd like is, if you have a pen, it's awesome. Again, it's reiterating to yourself when you write it down, but it's totally not necessary if you don't have one. Think of something, just allow something to arise, that a time when you just knew something without a doubt, right? You just knew. It can be as simple as, you know, the phone's ringing and you know who it is. It could be you knew not to trust somebody, or you really knew you could trust somebody. It can be anything. What do you know without a doubt? Okay? And now bring another one to mind. What do you know? Okay. And now another one. It can be as simple as, oh, I opened the menu and I knew my body wanted the beet salad. Or I knew I definitely don't want this thing. Right? And then what's the quality of that knowing? What's it like to know that you know? Right? And if you're willing to reiterate again and again to yourself that you know, you can bypass the doubt. And again, it's like, it can be like exercising a muscle. Yep, okay, let me tap into what I know here. What do I know? You let everyone else's opinion, judgment, conclusion back off. I sometimes even do that, like back off. This is my space here. Yeah, giving yourself space to know. And even when you know something and you override that awareness, as many of us do, right? Because we've been trained to. As a little kid, you knew something and your parents were like, shh, that's not true. Or like Santa Claus, right? You're like, does this person really exist? And they're like, oh yeah, he does. And you're like, something feels really off about that, right? We're taught to override our awareness. Oh, okay, that must know. I don't know, right? Every time we say, I don't know, we're invalidating ourselves, lying to ourselves, right? So what do you know, and how much can you reinforce that by acknowledging it again and again on a daily basis? Yeah. So now is a good time for questions if you have them. Okay. And while you type those in, if you have questions, I'd also love to see where you're from. It's kind of fun. You know, I'll just tell this little story of Anthony Robbins. Anthony Robbins loves to study like how people behave and you know, what makes people successful or good at what they do. And he was talking with a billionaire, a self-made billionaire, and he said, what's the secret to wealth? And the man said, you know it. You teach it. And he was like, huh? What? Tell me more. Like, I teach it? And he said, yeah, you teach it. He said, the secret to wealth is gratitude. Because if you don't have gratitude, you can't be wealthy no matter how much money you have. Right? And I know people like that. I actually know people who don't sleep at night. They have millions of dollars, millions upon millions, like, who make millions upon millions of dollars every year. Don't sleep at night. They're not tapped into the gratitude each day. So weaving this in, changing the negativity of bias of the mind can create so much, including more money, because you're acknowledging, oh, the universe is a supportive place, right? When you tap into the vibration of having what it is you'd like to have, okay, being grateful for it as though it's already occurred, you are no longer separated, creating separation between you and what it is you'd like to have. And you're being the vibration of the person who has it, which is an immediate energy pull, right? Pulling it to you. So it looks like you guys don't have questions unless I'm missing something here. Okay, there's the chat box, just making sure. And so I hope you have enjoyed this, and I'd love if you are willing for me to just tell you a little bit about radical abundance, because it's really so much fun for me to see how people change their lives and change their sense of abundance and change their financial situations as well. So I had a man recently message me. He sent me like a Facebook, and I had a Facebook. He sent me a WhatsApp, and he said, Kathy, this is the first year I'm ending the year with a surplus instead of a deficit, thanks to radical abundance. So I'm going to just thank you all for letting me share it with you for a moment. I'm going to share it right here. I hope you can see that. And so let me see if I can scroll it. Cool. So radical abundance is 9 weeks to clear out lack and scarcity and embrace abundance. And it's going to start in January. And those 9 weeks include 8 live Zooms where we interact, where we go through different things. to help you create abundance your way. Because if you look at this here, oh, I'm scrolling on the wrong thing here. You know, your idea of abundance might not be like mine. Living in Hawaii, traveling around the world, having clients all over the planet, being published, or having money to spend how you choose. I'd really like to help you create abundance your way. And these 9 weeks, you know, I had a student message me recently, and she said, Kathy, I really finally, in your program, I've been trying for 16 years to get manifestation and actualization, and I finally got it during your program. And I just listened to the last call 3 times. And I was like, whoa, thank you for your email. You know, she said, this is more useful. This is a more useful class than anything I've taken. So let's see, what do? We get clear on your desires, and we let go of the desires that aren't actually true for you. Because if we're living by desires that aren't actually true for us, we're going to spend lots of energy going in a direction maybe that was relevant in the past, but isn't now, or was someone else's desire that we were trying to fulfill. So we start to take inspired action to reach them, and that comes from your knowing, and it comes from getting over the doubt. Stop self-sabotage, doubt, scarcity thinking, and limiting beliefs. Let go of those negative messages from childhood and the belief that hard work and struggle are required for success, which allows you to spend more time with people you love and less time doing what's not fun for you. That's not to say that there won't be work sometimes. Magically show up, and sometimes work will be required too. Getting out of your comfort zone will be required, right? Because if you stay in your comfort zone, you stay small and limited. All right. Create a life that you love with the awareness the universe has your back at all times. You'll effortlessly clear blocks to receiving. And we have some fun bonuses that people love that help do that as well. And start creating the creative projects, travel, and possibilities you've been asking for. One lady said, I really wanted to create a retreat, and I'm finally doing it. Another woman recently said, I'm finally having co-creative relationships, the ones I knew were possible, but hadn't had where I live, because she had moved to a new area. And allow your body to be a contribution to your abundance and joy rather than a hindrance. So, what does it include? It includes access to the complete Radical Abundance course. One lady said, I got a message recently. She said, Kathy, I don't think people know how much is included in this program. It's amazing. It's full. So again, 8 live Saturday Zoom sessions, and that's Q&A. That's, new content for you. That's activities and discussion. And most of them are 75 minutes. So we really can dive in and have time. And then you get recordings of everything, both audio and video, a private Facebook group to interact and hear others' insights and express your own. And then the library of tools and energy exercises is what she was commenting on. It's huge. It's pretty amazing. To help you have clarity. And then bonuses, and I'll talk about those in a moment. And then one feature people love about this is there's an accountability partner. So you're kind of paired by both time zone, but also your energy, and who I kind of get can be the greatest contribution to you. And people have really liked that because it helps you stay on track, and then you can connect and receive support from each other. And then one of the weeks is called Integration Week, because I know, and we all get busy and sometimes miss something. And so integration week is to help you catch up or go deeper in a certain direction. All right. So the next thing is the bonuses. You're going to have $370 worth of bonuses. So you get radical abundance, and then this bonus called Stop Stopping You, which goes into the 9 major areas where people stop themselves. So lack of time, lack of energy or health, lack of money, lack of skill, lack of information. So all 9, and helps you get unstuck. Then, so you get radical abundance, you get Stop Stopping You, and then the Kahuna nighttime exercise. And I shared that exercise in a program I did called Money Magic. And people said, Kathy, I just can't believe it. That exercise works every time I do it. And I'm like, I know. It's really cool. So the shaman I worked with for 2 years gave me this exercise, and here's a story about it. It's really amazing. A woman had an alpaca farm, and alpacas are kind of like llamas, not lions, llamas. And she wanted to sell this farm and move away. And she's like, who the heck is going to buy like 50 alpacas? Right? Maybe it was more like 30. I'm not sure. Anyway, she did the Kahuna nighttime exercise, and she did it several nights in a row. And at the end of that time, she got a call from a news station, and they said, we're very interested in doing a news spot on your alpaca farm. And wouldn't you know it, she went on the news, and from being on that show, she was able to sell all the alpacas and move. So it's really to help you attract clients, a buyer for your house, whatever else you need. Okay. And this is what they were saying in the Money Magic class. They were like, Kathy, it works every time. So you get that. You get radical abundance, Stop Stopping You, the Kahuna nighttime attraction exercise, and 5 different money magic exercises. And these are designed to help you transform your relationship with money. And I know for a lot of people, money is an area where they're like, I need work. So these exercises you can put on your phone, you can listen to anytime, are designed to allow you to do that and create more clarity. So radical abundance, the Stop Stopping You, Kahuna nighttime exercise, 5 money magic exercises. And then the other bonus is 3 different exercises for creating a life beyond your dreams. These are my favorite energy pull exercises designed to help you tap into the contribution of the universe and really receive. And in fact, you know, I told someone I'm going to make that 5 different exercises there. So all of that, all those 4 different bonuses, including all the 5 energy pulls, 5 money magic exercises, Kahuna nighttime exercises, Stop Stopping You, and then the 9 weeks of classes, and all for this special price, just for the webinar of $497. I mean, $467. Whoa. Even a better deal. And that is $430 off the regular price. And in the last webinar I did, we already had the first 4 sign up, but I'm going to offer that again. So if you sign up and you're one of the first 4 from this webinar to do it, you'll also get a private session with me. I just love to see what this program changes for people. It just lights me up so much, and getting their feedback during and after the course is really amazing. Then the other element is if you have your own business and you would like to grow it, there's also Radical Abundance for Business. It's on a special price right now. And that has 3 extra specially designed sessions to expand your business. So I'm going to pop the website into the chat here, and so you can copy paste it. It is meetkathywilliams.com/radical abundance online. So if you go there and you're one of the first 4, you'll get that extra private session and including all those other bonuses and the class at this webinar price. So I'm just so grateful to all of you that that you're here, that you've taken this time to be here with me. I would love to hear your questions. I would love to hear, anything else that has come up for you from this webinar. And of course, I can be reached at meetkathywilliams.com. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here on this Thursday. And if you're in Australia, it's Friday already. And I'm going to stop screen sharing here. And yeah, I'm really grateful to all of you. Your presence in the world really does make a difference. And you being the gratitude that's possible also invites other people to be it as well. So thanks for being here with me. And I look forward to playing with you in some respect sometime soon. Hi! Again, that website is meetkathywilliams.com /online. All right, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, or whatever it may be. And hope to see you soon. meetkathywilliams.com /radical abundance online. Hello.